Accepting on behalf of Eiko is a graduate of the New York Fashion Academy in Ballard. She designed a custom piece for the Sam in the Andy Warhol Kurt fashion, and she's got to be back in her crypt by daybreak. So please welcome Tamara Yurkanin, everyone.
Fellow Lugos is dead. Fellow Lugos is dead.
I wrote something out just to read so that I don't get nervous and confused. When Francis Ford Coppola approached Eiko Ishioka to design the costumes for Bram Stoker's Dracula, he had loved her art direction for the film Mishima and some of her previous work, including her design on the poster for the Japanese release of Apocalypse Now. But at that point in her career, she considered herself a production designer and told him that if she got a production design job, she did the sets and the costumes, because the costumes were such an important part of the set design. To which he replied, "The costumes are the sets." He had decided to spend most of his money on the costumes, describing the sets as stark and minimalistic, created through effects of shadow, projected lighting, featured set pieces against a void. In the end, the entire movie was shot on sound stages. Before working on the film, Eiko had never seen any Dracula films. And a quote from Coppola at the time says he wanted to hire an independent, weirdo outsider with no roots in the business, which paid off and allowed her to visualize a fresh version of the Dracula story. For me personally, as a digital designer who has recently started studying and approaching fashion design, I appreciate that Eiko was bringing a history of graphic design and production to her costuming. I can understand and appreciate both the challenges and the freedoms that she faced. After making Dracula, she went on to do more and more costuming and art direction, including most of Tarsem's films, the Beijing Olympic ceremony costumes, Bjork's music video, Grace Jones' tour gowns, and costumes for Cirque du Soleil. But in the Dracula production, I appreciated learning that because of her approach and extremely strong vision, the designs that she came up with were opulent and striking, but sometimes at the expense of the actors. For instance, the opening scene where Dracula, played by Gary Oldman, is wearing a red body armor that resembles striations of muscles and blood vessels. The armor was hard plastic shells, which made it nearly impossible for the actor to move around without destroying the costume during the scene. Likewise, Lucy, in her wedding gown, couldn't do the scene the way intended, and they needed to change the movements to accommodate her gown. Even before Dracula, her work carried a strong mix of eroticism, androgyny, opulence, and sometimes horror, but there was always a strong sense of dignity in all of her creations and a dedication to see her vision to the end. Eiko died last year on January 21st, 2012, of pancreatic cancer. In the obituary in W magazine, they quoted Coppola as saying, "When you make a movie, you don't get exactly what you want. You never do, you get percentages." Except for Eiko, she got what she wanted. I am honored to accept this award on her behalf, and I thank her deeply for her work and for her vision. Thank you.